Hello and welcome you again in our Resilience and Coping series. My name is Karolina Skulska, and if you haven't watched our previous recording, please check, as there are different strategies that can be applied to support the stress management and overall mental and physical well-being. Being human isn't easy. We are all individuals and we see world through the perceptions that was partially inherited from our parents and partially built up and learned on previous experiences. We need to remember, however, that not all of them were positive, but all were stored somewhere in our unconscious system to protect us. This is great because if we burnt our hand, it will let us remember this situation, and when the similar one occurs, it will keep us away from the threat. But that system can be not this helpful when we are thinking about relationships with ourselves and others. As a child, you could hear that you're not good enough, fat, too loud, too slim, too big, or other things that were so uncomfortable that your brain decided to store them somewhere in your unconscious mind. But what if you're meeting a perfect match? The person who you would happily spend the rest of your life with. Or maybe you've found a job advert, but you're not going to go for it because you don't feel good enough. You would think then you will probably not get what you want anyway. People are very good in supporting others, friends, relatives, in their needs, but often are the biggest self-critics. And it will go over and over and over mistakes, forgetting that mistakes are there for us to grow and develop. Child will fall so many times before finally starts walking, but is encouraged by a parents to do so, not criticize. This is helping him to overcome challenge and build self-confidence. So how about if we would cooperate this into our relationships with ourselves? How could your life look like if you would encourage yourself positively when something isn't going right? And instead of saying, for example, oh my God, I failed again. This happened to me again. That always happens to me. You would say something like, that's fine. This is just a tiny part of a bigger picture of my journey. Or I will try again tomorrow and maybe think what I can do differently. What we say to ourselves is very important. It will either lead us to positive outcome or might be a barrier to get to one. If you look for occasions, you will find an occasions. If you concentrate on the problems, that's all you will see around you. Did you ever listen to the way how you're describing events over a daytime or in general? Are you waking up and seeing all positive things around you? And or are you concentrate more on the negative ones? Are you saying, oh, that will be a great day? Or are you waking up waiting till Friday to come? The way we speak to ourselves, it's often habitual. That means through the lifetime you've got used to it, the certain way of seeing surrounding environment. And the way you describe things can tell a lot about that. What I would like you to take out of these recordings is that everything starts from us and our relationships with ourselves. We can be our best friends or the greatest enemies, but we can also change that at any time. As a first step, I would like you to start recognizing what are you saying to yourselves in your thoughts. Find a small notebook or do a note in your phone and start recording everything from your head, all thoughts. You can quickly discover whether you have more optimistic or pessimistic approach to life. That might be difficult to start with because you don't put too much attention to your thoughts on a daily basis. But start to consider how do you speak to yourself in your mind. Try to do that for a few days and see whether you can outline any patterns. After you discover what your head is doing in the background, you can start focusing or building positive relationships with yourself. So every time something negative happens, try to imagine that you're speaking to your best ever friend. What would you say to him or her if that's happened to them? And again, you will notice that sometimes changing perspective will support decision making in a very positive way. If your colleague would ask you whether they're stupid, you would probably start thinking of all his positive aspects to calm him or her down, but to prove them wrong. Why not to apply the same to yourself? Third step is inclusion of appreciation into your daily routine. And if you found that your thought process consists of more negatives, please make a daily list of the things you are appreciate for. Within a couple of weeks, you will be amazed on how differently you will see surrounding world. It might be very difficult to start with because you might think, well, there is nothing good happened to me today. But if you think about that, well, you've got up. How many people would be appreciate if they could get up, they could walk, they could speak? You probably have food, you have more or less liked families, but you've got ones. It has been proven that appreciation supports positive changes in our bodies. So what are you thankful for? Last important thing is that people will not choose to do something wrongly in purpose. Most of the time, we are all trying to be the best selves, and we will act in our best capacities that are available to us in the current moment. Therefore, it's so important to remember about that when you review back on your previous mistakes. When you have something challenging, or when something challenging somebody else does to you, try to get out of your body all those bad feelings, the anger or hate. If someone hurts you, just let that go. You need to remember that this is your own energy you're losing, keeping all those feelings inside you. But this also applies to yourself. So if you have something you might not be too happy with, just let it go. Remember, you've tried your best for the best outcome. And try to be your own friend. We are all making mistakes and we are all humans. Thank you so much for today. I hope to see you next week when we will be speaking about how to create environment and connection in the groups. Take care, stay safe. Bye.